Gun violence has rocked a school or two in that province. The deputy principal of Sandakahle Primary School was shot at after interrupting a hijacking on Wednesday. On the same day, a 10-year-old was caught in the crossfire when gunmen began shooting outside Lotusville Primary School. eNCA's Letiwe Ndluli has been gathering details on both those incidents at schools, and she joins us now. So, Letiwe, just talk to me about what's actually been going on.
Well, Sally, it's a huge concern, especially for parents and teachers, that the violence is now moving into schools here in the province. Just yesterday, we heard of two incidents. The first one happening in Sandakahle Primary School, which is in Umlazi, where a deputy principal was shot by gunmen who entered the school premises disguised as construction workers. And when they were there, they tried to hijack one of the teachers. And unfortunately, the deputy principal saw all of this happening and screamed for help. And this is when the gunman opened fire and shot at her. Luckily, she was just injured and she was taken to hospital. And we do believe that she's right now recovering in hospital. But of course, there were pupils at the school at that time, and we do believe that they were in assembly. So they heard all of this commotion taking place. They heard the gunshots going off, and it created a stampede. Everyone was in panic. And I went to the school this morning just to speak to the teachers and also the parents as well, to find out how they are feeling following this traumatic event. And of course, when we went to the school, the parents were very, very concerned about the violence that is now taking place in schools. This is not the first incident. We do understand that yesterday, same day in the afternoon though, in Lotusville Primary School, a pupil was injured or was caught in the crossfire when three gunmen approached a vehicle which people believe was a parent who was going to be picking up their child at that school. They opened fire and they shot and killed the parent, and one of the pupils from the school was caught in that crossfire and they injured that child. So it's very concerning that these incidents are taking place at schools now. We have been speaking about the gun violence that has been taking place across the province. Not so long ago, we were in Mariannhill, where three people, or there was a mass shooting, rather I should say, that took place in that place. And we spoke to the police about this, and they were raising concerns that there are a lot of guns in the streets here in KwaZulu-Natal. But when I was speaking to the parents a bit earlier on about some of their concerns and how their children are feeling following this incident, they did say that they are raising issues with the department not providing security for the schools, because they were saying that at the school there's just one security guard, and that person was not hired by the departments but rather by the SGB. So they are asking for the departments to intervene and just try and come up with interventions to try and help the situation out. But while speaking to one parent, this is what she had to say.
The child was here, ubela kwi assembly area le, mechaza ingane zizwinhlamvu eintathu. So there was a stampede because nathi sikhishwe ingane eyodwa ekwazi ukugijima yafika yazonqonqoza ekhaya yathi qhuma isibhamu esikoleni. And umzali wonke umzali bengihlangana naye emgaqweni behamba egqoka emgaqweni ngendlela besiconcern ngayo, sibuza ukuthi othisha nezingane banjani, because akaze yenzeke into enje kavile lokhu ngazalwa. My concerns ngalento ukuthi it'd be great, it'd be nice ukuthi ugovernment akasinake asilungisele ucingo lesikole njengoba ubona ade uqhamuka la ukuthi ucinga lekho safe. Basuka kude othisha bazofundisa izingane zethu, nami ngifundela ngikaze ngiyibone lento. Another thing, camera ne-security airtight, day and night, kunga right, la esikoleni.
So, Letiwe, that mum speaking in isiZulu, we didn't have a translation on that. I did hear her mention the word stampede, and I think that's what you were referring to as well. Just tell us what she had to say.
Well, Sally, basically the parent was raising concerns about the fact that there's not enough security guards at the school, and she was also talking about the fencing around the school, saying that the department has to intervene because they haven't had proper fencing since the school was built. She's also talking about cameras. They need cameras as the school, because if there were cameras, they'd be able to identify these people or the culprits that went inside the school yesterday.
Yeah, it's really, really distressing. And as you say, outside Sandakahle Primary School, deputy principal shot and injured. The 10-year-old at the Lotusville Primary School also injured, but a parent shot dead. I mean, these are violent, awful incidents happening so close to schools. What is the department saying?
Well, the Department of Education has reacted, saying that they condemn these incidents and they are urging communities to work together with the police so that they can inform the police if they know of any people who might be involved in the crimes that are created or in the crimes that are being brought into these schools now. They haven't actually responded to any of our phone calls because we wanted to ask about the security concerns regarding the security that are found in those schools. The parents did say that they are paying from out of their pockets to pay for people that they hire as a community to keep guard at the schools. So they haven't been able to answer our phone calls today because we had more questions, but they have condemned this incident that took place at Sandakahle. And in a video that they sent out yesterday, this is what the spokesperson for the Department of Education, Muzima Hlambi, had to say.
As the Department of Education in KwaZulu-Natal, we were shocked this morning to learn about the shooting of a deputy principal of Sandakahle Primary School, a primary school in the V section in Umlazi, in what is alleged to be a failed car hijacking of one of her colleagues who was in front of her when she screamed, and then the hijackers then shot at her. She is stable where she is, receiving the medical treatment in one of the medical facilities in Durban. The MEC takes this opportunity to urge the community members who might have seen these hijackers to assist the police with the identification of them so that they could be apprehended.
2 shooting incidents in one day outside schools, primary schools no less, in KwaZulu-Natal. And as that parent was saying, the SGB is paying for security guards. More needs to be done by the Department of Education. Thank you so much for bringing us up to speed on that story. Letiwe Mdluli there in Durban.